Hello there once again, and welcome to you wherever you may be. In the ancient Chinese novel The Journey to the West, the Monkey King struggles mightily with the confines of this earthly life as he is gently guided and corrected by the Buddha. We'll hear from him at the end. And also from Gurdjieff about the nature of the path and the great difficulties there are for people who walk it. Now, observing myself, last week I gave an answer to somebody, and it was a clever answer because I've read a lot of books. And when I answer people, I can plug an interesting jigsaw piece into the puzzle created by the question. But I felt inside somehow it was still insincere. People like a certain kind of answer, maybe one that relieves their misery or makes them feel smart for a few minutes. Gurdjieff describes 4 states of consciousness that human beings can be in. The first is to be asleep in the bed. The second is to be asleep and awake, which is the state of most of the people on the planet. The third is the state of self-awareness or self-remembering. This is a state when you can experience yourself as well as the horizon. As you live, you can perceive the world and think about the world, but you experience your own existence at the same time. That is the state of self-remembering. 3. Now the fourth state is the state of objective consciousness, which is the state of a self-realized person, where the 3 holy forces are flowing through him. How does that relate to how I can be when I answer a question? Well, the problem I had with my answer is that I couldn't feel it flow through the middle of me, through my solar plexus in the middle of the body. It wasn't there that I was answering from. I had made some connections in the answer, and it was ingenious, but it wasn't real. If I talk about something that I have learnt deep inside, the words and the signal coming from the solar plexus are the same, so there is only one signal that is coming out of me, and the signal travels from the real identity through the personality, making the personality also true. But mostly people talk about things that they do not know inside, so the only signal you have comes from their face. And sometimes they even feel in their guts, a completely different thing. And so you have 2 completely different signals coming out of them, one red and one green. Gurdjieff says that there is a great horror to discover that you love everything that you hate, and that you do everything that you do not wish to do. And we are born in an automatic mechanism, a mechanism that most human beings do not know about, as they travel from birth to death, just like any farm animal. And it is a great journey to piece by piece take control of that mechanism so that you become a real man. That is the path. When I was young, I tried to give the children the same amount of love. 1 piece for you, 1 piece for you, 1 piece for you, and 1 piece for you, so that everybody was equal. But life isn't like that at all. In the real world, you would know that 1 person is a scorpion, 1 person is a llama, 1 person is a giraffe, and 1 person is a hedgehog. And in order to get the best out of the situation, you have to alchemize their abilities together to create a ray of functioning, so that you become a team. And a team has no interest in being equal. They have an interest in knowing their particular features. If you are a giraffe, you are good at some things. If you are a crocodile, you are good at other things. A crocodile can be sent ahead to eat your enemies. And that is the real world. It's far more interesting and alchemical, and things start happening. And although people love to talk about equality and about being peaceful, they all secretly wished for the vast energy of life to smash into them and to wash over them like the surging waves at the beach. For many of them, they will have to wait for their turn. For those on their path, it is the time of war. Let's hear from Gurdjieff. In the general mass of everyday life, especially modern life, the ways are a small, quite imperceptible phenomenon, which, from the point of view of life, need not exist at all. But this small phenomenon contains in itself all that man has for the development of his hidden possibilities. The ways are opposed to everyday life, based upon other principles and subject to other laws. In this consists their power and their significance. In everyday life, even in a life filled with scientific, philosophical, religious or social interests, there is nothing, and there can be nothing, which could give the possibilities which are contained in the ways. The ways lead, or should lead, man to immortality. Everyday life, even at its best, leads man to death and can lead to nothing else. The idea of the ways cannot be understood if the possibility of man's evolution without their help is admitted. As a rule, it is hard for man to reconcile himself to this thought. It seems to him exaggerated, unjust, and absurd. He has a poor understanding of the meaning of the word possibility. He fancies that if he has any possibilities in himself, they must be developed, and that there must be means for their development in his environment. From a total refusal to acknowledge in himself any possibilities whatever, a man generally proceeds forthwith to demand the imperative and inevitable development of these possibilities. And now I think to myself, when I see ordinary people, especially those with families and kids and so on, they seem very healthy in a certain way. My view of that is that they're responding to the original design of man, which should work and should be good, but the problem is that man is in fact a fallen creature, and all the violence and horror of our life, all the mechanized planetary destruction, can only be caused by human beings who have somehow drifted away from their true purpose. I honor ordinary people, and I honor the family, and I honor their families, and I should do everything that I can to help them, but I recognize something is badly wrong. And that fall is the false self. In fact, most of these people simply don't have the strength to do anything different, and it is the role of the seeker to lead them, to get to the end and pull them across. If man is a large beast that goes through many cycles, like the Leviathan that surfaces and returns to the sea, it rises and falls in great cycles. These people with their families and their ordinary lives are holding a position. They are doing their job as they should do, but the seeker, as he is created, also has a job. And only together can we cross the great ocean that humanity is traveling upon. And the seeker has to contain within himself two worlds. The world that he meets when he leaves, and the world of the work of the path, which are completely separate, and it is painful to hold these two at the same time. And by holding two worlds inside of him, he is splicing them together and forging them together and leading a way between two worlds. and until there is success, humanity has no option but to live in fighting, struggling, fucking, and killing. The few people that can follow the path have a great responsibility, because nobody is coming to save us. Now Gurdjieff says, in the ordinary conditions of cultural life, the position of a man, even of an intelligent man who is seeking knowledge, is hopeless, because in the circumstances surrounding him there is nothing resembling either the fakir or yogic schools, while the religions of the West have degenerated to such an extent that for a long time there has been nothing alive in them, and various occult and mystical societies and naive experiments in the nature of spiritualism and so on can give no results whatever. Well, in the Western world, I think it was with Gurdjieff and other leaders like him that several important traditional schools did arrive from the East, and some of them are indeed good quality. But as I've said before, the attitude of the seeker must be to pick up the pieces and to be the engine of returning things to the light. It is the nature of this planet to rust easily. Things decay very quickly here. And so the man of light must be the one who returns everything he touches to the golden age, to the light. Every word, every gesture, every step, returning it to the light. He says, the fourth way requires no retirement into the desert, does not require a man to give up and renounce everything by which he formerly lived. The fourth way begins much further on than the way of the yogi. This means that a man must be prepared for the fourth way, and this preparation must be acquired in ordinary life and be a very serious one, embracing many different sides. Furthermore, a man must be living in conditions favorable for work on the fourth way, or in any case, in conditions which do not render it impossible. In his Paris apartment, Gurdjieff had spent many years painstakingly collecting the worst collection of paintings in all of Paris that he hung up on his wall, and in the same direction, poetry now that comes from Journey to the West. As he was looking at the view, the Monkey King heard a human voice coming from the depths of the forest. He rushed into the trees, and when he cocked his ear to listen, he heard a song.
Watching the chess game, I cut through the rotten, felling trees, ding ding. Strolling at the edge of the cloud in the mouth of the valley, I saw firewood to buy wine. Cackling with laughter, perfectly happy, I pillow myself on a pine root, looking up at the moon. When I wake up, it is light. Recognizing the old forest, I scale cliffs and cross ridges, cutting down withered creepers with my axe. When I've gathered a basket full, I walk to the market with a song and traded for 3 pints of rice. Nobody else competes with me, so prices are stable. I don't speculate or try sharp practice, couldn't care less what people think of me. Calmly lengthening my days, the people I meet are Taoists and immortals, sitting quietly and expounding the yellow court.
The Monkey King was overjoyed to hear this, and he said with glee, "So this is where the immortals have been hiding." He bounded deeper into the woods for a closer look, and saw that the singer was a woodcutter cutting firewood. He was wearing the most unusual clothes. Well, I think that's all for this week. It's been an extremely difficult one for me. It's been a week where I felt a lot like a monkey. Goodbye to you all.